Diego Maradona arrived in Mexico City for the 1986 World Cup at the height of his powers. His success on the pitch felt inevitable in the mid to late 80s. A footballing god toying with mere mortals, Maradona certainly didn't need any kind of divine intervention to lead Argentina to glory. Meanwhile, England arrived at the tournament far less capable than a Maradona-led squad, but with no lesser expectations. When the pair clashed in the quarterfinals at the Azteca Stadium, one of the most infamous chapters in sports history was written, and there was no surprise who the main character turned out to be. Though his second half of the decade would arguably be even better, by the time the '86 World Cup rolled around, the 25-year-old Maradona had already established himself as the best footballer on the planet thanks to electrifying stints at Napoli, Barcelona, Boca Juniors, and Argentinos Juniors. As one southern Italian newspaper wrote after Napoli paid a then-record £6.9 million fee to nab him, the lack of a mayor, houses, schools, buses, employment, and sanitation, none of this matters because we have Maradona. At the international level, Argentina hadn't been quite as dependent on Maradona as Napoli was at the club level, but that was about to change. He had been left off the eventual tournament-winning team as a 17-year-old in 1978, and was frustrated throughout his World Cup debut 4 years later, where defending champions Argentina were sent packing in the second round, with Maradona sent off in the team's final match. By '86, Maradona was a man on a mission, determined to put his country on his back. And he did just that. He assisted on all 3 goals in a tournament opening victory over South Korea, scored the team's lone goal in a draw against defending champions Italy, then played every minute of a 2-0 victory over Bulgaria and 1-0 knockout stage win over Uruguay, setting up the quarter-final clash against England. The tension between the two footballing nations at the time was palpable. This was 4 years after the Falklands War, and there was still bad blood lingering from 2 decades earlier, when Argentina's captain was sent off during a 1966 quarterfinal match in England and proceeded to sit on the royal carpet as part of his protest. In response, England's manager called Argentine players animals. As former Argentine defender Roberto Perfumo later stated, in 1986, winning that game against England was enough. Winning the World Cup was secondary. Before the 1986 match itself, a Mexico City fight between supporters of the two nations left several fans hospitalized. Suffice to say, the air was thick in the Azteca by the time the second half kicked off in a scoreless knockout match. From there, it became the Maradona show. Unable to open the scoring despite many chances earlier in the contest, the breakthrough finally came in the most bizarre fashion. Maradona beat multiple English players during a 51st minute attack, then dished off to a teammate, whose first touch left something to be desired. The ball bounced up to English midfielder Steve Hodge, whose attempt at a clearance went backwards. Unfortunately for Hodge, it was a great ball into a charging Maradona, who sprang off the ground, floated above the sweltering pitch, and redirected the inadvertent cross into the back of the net. Argentina won, England 0. Or was it? As English players furiously protested to the referee, replays showed Maradona had batted the ball with his left hand.
Or was it a use of the hand that England are complaining about?
The violation was never seen by official Ali bin Nasser or his linesman though, and in a pre-VAR time, the goal stood. With all of England reeling from the most infamous goal ever scored, Maradona hit them with a breathtaking knockout punch, following up his handball tally with what's become known as the goal of the century. Gary Lineker pulled one back for England in the 81st minute, but Argentina held on for the 2-1 victory en route to the country's second World Cup title. Maradona added 2 more goals in a semi-final win over Belgium and assisted on the championship-winning goal in a 3-2 victory over West Germany. As if there was any doubt, Maradona won the Golden Ball Award as the tournament's best player, scoring 5 goals and assisting on 5 of the other 9 Argentine tallies while playing every second of all 7 matches. All anyone wanted to talk about, however, was the goal that quickly became known as the Hand of God. Maradona himself birthed the iconic reference in his post-match comments following the quarterfinal triumph, stating that the goal was scored a little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God. Argentines might ask, are they not one in the same? In addition to fueling Argentina's run to another World Cup title, the hand of God helped contribute to Maradona's rich and complex legacy, which would grow darker in the years to come, as off-field issues, including an illegitimate son, drugs, and mob association, plagued him. The hand of God became the defining image of football's favorite anti-hero. The jersey he wore when he scored it and the goal of the century, a jersey he swapped with Hodge of all people following the match, ended up fetching £7.1 million at a 2022 auction. It also became the image of England's continued plight on the world stage. The 1966 World Cup winners haven't won a major tournament since, and the dark cloud of impending doom that seems to loom over every England squad can at least partly be tied to how they lost in '86. It's part of the lore and collective trauma of English football, weighing on players and fans who weren't even born when Maradona's divine intervention broke English hearts. If it makes them feel any better, in 2005, Maradona finally admitted he intentionally used his hand to score, and years later endorsed the use of replay technology to ensure such controversial moments no longer decide matches. There have been lots of incidents where World Cup history would have been different if technology had been used. It's time to change all that, Maradona told FIFA.com in 2017, about 51 years too late for England. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button.